Welcome back, everyone. We're here today. First Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time and being here with me. Looking forward to supporting our community in any way that I can. So every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, I tackle your most challenging questions and case studies. And it's something that I've been doing now for about 6 years and really enjoy being able to answer as many questions as I can. I know that not all of us, you and I, are going to get to meet in person, but I think maybe the very best next thing that we could do is at least listen to what you're going through, and for me to try to provide some insight as to what I believe may be the next first step. Again, no medical advice being given or diagnosis or treatment plans, but certainly a different opinion, maybe an opinion that could set you on the stage to being able to figure out whatever it is that ails you. And we've had so many thousands of success stories written in just from the Cabral House Calls in the community that it's really been amazing to see. And so again, this is truly a pleasure. And let's answer your questions. All right. First question today is from Chelsea. Chelsea says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. 2 quick questions. I'm a healthy and active 30-year-old female, and I have high running body temperature. My friends and my partner often comment that my skin is always hot to the touch, almost like I have a fever, but it's my baseline, especially in the evening and overnight. I sweat easily, and I'm a true pitta. Do you know why I might run so hot? I have stripped back most inflammatory foods after doing my lab testing, and I'm in good health overall. I don't have any hot flashes or anything. I'm just curious as to why I'm warmer than anyone I know. Second, my Oura ring shows me that I get almost all of my REM sleep between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. Is this normal? This means anytime I have to get up earlier, I miss out on my REM when I try to go to bed earlier. I'd estimate most nights I'm fully asleep before 11 and always practice good sleep hygiene to maximize my deep and REM cycles. Is this normal? Is there anything I can do to get more REM before 6 a.m.? Thank you, Chelsea." All right. Yes, happy to help. So, Chelsea, 2 questions. Let's answer them both. The first is this. First, you're just going to want to get one of those thermometers that I recommend. I've got all sorts of different brands, and at stephencabral.com/resources, you can find all my recommended companies that I recommend. It could be anything from a Braun ear thermometer to a forehead one. I really recommend the ear. I think that there are the least expensive and second most accurate before the oral ones, but it's like $300, the same one that I have in my office practice. You don't need one of those, but certainly you could do the ear-based one. Okay, so you want to just take your temperature. Is it in the 98s? 98.6 is a bit of a misnomer. It's certainly a healthy body temperature, 98.6, but you can be 98.8, you can be 98.2, and you're healthy. If you're running in the 99s, well, there's an issue, right? There's an issue certainly in terms of some type of inflammatory process, but more so from a pathogen standpoint, okay? And then if you're in the 97s, well, it means there's definitely a lowered metabolic rate. A lot of people with Epstein-Barr virus, with thyroid issues, lowered metabolism, have lowered body temperatures. Okay, so that's that. Now, if it's just hot to the touch, well, some people are warmer to the touch. For example, myself and my youngest daughter, we run a little bit warmer, right? That is more of that pitta, right? I do not have a pitta structure to my body, but I am certainly, in terms of mindset and like my skin and my body, definitely more of a pitta. So you're going to be a little warmer. You are circulation wise. You typically produce more dopamine, norepinephrine. It sounds like you're going, you're exercising, your body's moving. To me, you definitely sound like a pitta as well. My youngest daughter, again, we don't have pitta body types, but she certainly runs warm as well. So I can't tell you exactly why you're running warmer. Some people do because of, again, their constitution, whereas an endomorph may run a little bit more clammy, colder, a little bit more maybe sweaty, and a vata would be dry and cooler. So this has been known for many thousands of years in Ayurvedic medicine. And again, you're always looking at underlying root causes. So I can't tell you why. If you have If you have inflammation, you can definitely be warmer. That's not a good thing, right? But if it's just you and circulation and your body's producing more dopamine and testosterone and norepinephrine like a lot of pittas do, well, as long as you're healthy, then there's no issues with that. But you always have to look at your labs because I can't tell you that. All right. Now, in terms of the REM and deep sleep, I have my tips for you on a podcast. So I'm going to get that podcast for you. And I can tell you exactly how to get more REM and deep sleep. And this fall, 2022, I will be coming out with a small group that I will be helping them to biohack in a healthy way their sleep and longevity-based routines, healthy lifestyle. So let's find this podcast for you though. All right. So we're just going to type in StephenCabral.com/podcast. Then we're going to go to the search bar and we're just going to type in, let's type in REM deep sleep. And let's see if the podcast pops up. All right. 4 types of fast. There it is. See, just boom, right there. Use that search box. And obviously we talk a lot about this, but I have a 2-part series. Episode 1706 and 1712 will have all of your answers. StephenCabral.com/1706. And then you would do 1712. All right. So hopefully that is helpful. All right. Let's see who's up next. Jim's up next. Or no, sorry, Jill. Jill's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you 100 times over for changing my life. Well, I'm very happy to hear that, Jill. I don't know what happened, but I'm very happy about that. Question, I go to bed around 11, but around 2 to 3, I start itching uncontrollably until I wake up. All over really, but then especially in one spot on the inside of my thigh. It keeps me up all night. I've read it's because of body temperature changes, moisture, etc. I also have severe dry mouth upon waking. Is it simply dehydration? I have an air purifier in my room and I drink water. Does this mean I need to move more? I try to slow down water before bed to avoid wake up to urinate. What am I missing, or what would you suggest? What exactly is going on? Thank you again, Jill. All right, Jill. There are many, many reasons for this. Let me go through a couple with you. So the first one is with cortisol. So our cortisol is down during the night. As our cortisol is down during the night, cortisol, again, it's not always a bad thing. It acts as an anti-inflammatory. An anti-inflammatory helps with the itching-based response. So if you think about it, people with itching can have a response because of low levels of norepinephrine or low levels of cortisol. And we know that because low levels of cortisol and low levels of norepinephrine can also lead to the symptoms of allergies and asthma as well. Okay, so there's an important one there. However, eating foods you're sensitive to, and that would include at bedtime or dinner, can also lead to itchiness overnight. So there's that factor. Then if you are sweating, your body's not getting good circulation. I just did a podcast on this as well. You want to get that air circulating. You really do. So let's say that your temperature in your room is too high. Again, you want a lower temperature in your room. You want breathable sheets. I like the bamboo sheets. Those that I recommend are at StephenCabral.com/podcast. You want a breathable comforter. And so, because if you're sweating, and then what happens is, because a lot of people sweat, like overnight, you might lose a liter of water. So what happens is, then you have that sodium, salt that you sweat out on your legs and body, which makes you itchy. And if it's your whole body, it could be that. If you find yourself sweating, you have dry mouth, it very well could be that you were sweating too much when you're sleeping. I mean, not talking about a full sweat, but certainly sweating a bit much. So even if you drank more before bed, it's not going to necessarily solve the problem. It's why are you sweating so much while you're sleeping? So there are a bunch of different things for us to go over. Again, like, I don't want to go through pH changes in the body because that can cause itchiness, but alkaline respiratory issues can be an issue, but we're not going to, again, go that deep. So what I'm saying, though, is this. I want to make sure that we are keeping the body in the right parasympathetic nervous system response while sleeping, that there's no hormonal-based issues. So I would run the Big 5 labs. If you can't run the Big 5 labs, you'll run one lab, which is the stress, mood, and metabolism lab. All right, so that's number one, because then you'll see if there's high cortisol at night or it's what's going on with the body, maybe low thyroid, et cetera. All right, so the next one, though, is I would make sure that you're using something like the Sleep Help Protocol at StephenCabral.com/shop. And that's going to share with you what we do to help people in that deeper sleep so that they're not kind of fluctuating throughout the night. That would be a big recommendation, because for you, again, I can't make any recommendations. I'm just looking at things and playing them out in scenarios in my head. Could be could be highly beneficial to use either CalMag Complete or Calming Magnesium before bed. Potentially a little liquid melatonin may help. All of those are part of the sleep health protocol, and you may want to check that out as well. All right. Thanks, Jill, for writing in. Anonymous is up next. Hi, I'm such a huge fan of the podcast. It has truly taught me a lot. I've been learning a lot about Ayurveda lately, but something that still confuses me is the Ayurvedic season. In my country, we only have rainy and sunny seasons, not the 4 seasons. I was wondering how that translates Ayurvedically to the dosha seasons. I would like to tailor my diet to the season, but I'm a bit unclear how to do that. Also, my birth constitution is predominantly Vata, 50%, and the rest is Pitta and Kapha, respectively. I understand that I need more grounding, carbs, and wholesome oils and fats in my diet, especially because I tend to have dry skin and low density hair. However, when I increase them, I gain a lot of weight, especially in my face and belly. I assume it's insulin issues. I have tried detoxing and fasting, but I still have a lot of food cravings. And it's not for refined carbs. It's for healthy foods like sweet potatoes and also fats like avocados. When I finish a meal, I feel physically full but mentally unsatisfied. I can't seem to stop eating even though I know I've had enough. The feeling is so strong. I also can't stop thinking about food even when I'm not eating. It's overwhelming. I would love your thoughts on this. Thank you for all you do. All right, Anonymous, happy to help. So there's a lot of different questions in here, but let's break it down. So, in India, and I've studied all over India, the very, very tip of India, all the way down through Kerala and Trivandrum, all the way down through Kanyakumari, which is like the tip of India where the 3 seas meet. Beautiful, beautiful spot. And then I've studied up the coast and all the way up into the Himalayas. So, and but even still in India, like it's not drastically 4 seasons. I mean, it's really not. And so when you look at it, but there's still mild changes for those seasons. And so you do adapt. And what would be more important would be looking at the damp time of the year, the rainy season, and the warmer non-damp time of the year. And that's how you could also ground as well. So you'd be having more drying-based foods during the rainy season, and you'd be having more hydrating foods during the non-rainy season. All right, so that's that with that. And everybody can do that based on their climate. So for example, like in New England, we have 4 real seasons. But I mean, having said that, spring is very short and fall is fairly short. We have a decent summer and we have a long winter, depending on kind of where you are. So, but again, there are seasons and you work with those seasons. You just move more towards one than the other. All right. So, but I don't want to get too deep into that because I have a lot of Ayurveda shows. I mean, I have 50 Ayurvedic shows. So if you want to go to stephencabral.com/podcast, scroll through the images and find the Ayurvedic Answers podcast and then check that out. Now, for you though, it's not just about saying, oh, it's this season, let me eat this, or this is my body type, and so let me eat this. For when I'm looking at you and hearing what you're saying, okay, I'm saying this person may have lower levels of thyroid. They may have estrogen dominance. Again, I don't even know if you're male or female from writing in this question. I also hear this person saying, I may have some type of either parasite or, and again, I'm not saying you have a parasite, or gut-based dysfunction as well, where we're not getting the same response that we should from the healthy foods that we're eating. So again, I'd be doing you a disservice by saying it's this, or this. But what I would say is 100%, I would run the Candida metabolic and vitamins test, and I would run the stress, mood, and metabolism test. Now, those are 2 of the big 5. If you're ever able to run the whole big 5, then that is absolutely what I would do. All right. Thank you so much again for writing in. Michelle is up next. Michelle says, hi, Dr. Cabral. I hope this will be an interesting one for you to answer. A couple of years ago, before I knew what a proper functional medicine gut and stool test was, I did one that gave me a list of foods to avoid and superfoods to maximize based on my gut microbiome. Avoid lists were things like bell peppers, paprika, tomato, and the reason given was because my gut had pepper and paprika, mild model virus, and tomato mosaic virus. Another food on the avoid list was coffee, and the reason given was the Catechols in coffee can be unfavorable to my gut. What are coffee catechols? Is any of this real? Can the virus be eradicated? I don't drink coffee, but I want to try a coffee enema. So will this be compromised in my gut? Thank you for the virus. Thank you for the guidance. Sorry, apologize. I said virus. This is the problem. This is really the problem with these marketing companies doing at-home lab tests. Be really careful. Be really careful. There's a new one popping up every day. You do not care about the lab itself. You care about the practitioner that you are working with. Let me repeat that. Forget about the lab and focus on the practitioner. Are you working with a practitioner or functional medicine, organization, or are you running a lab for the sake of running a lab? Because all of these are basically computer algorithms spit out. They're not used by humans, right? And so be really careful with these companies, really, really careful. Honestly, they will tell you to do things that are in the best interest of them marketing more things to you. When you run a lab through Equalife or your local naturopathic doctor or an integrative health practitioner level 2, they don't know. I don't own any of the labs. These aren't my labs. What I do is I work with the best labs, the CLIA certified, legitimate labs, functional medicine labs, and that's what we get you, right? You just need a doctor to sign off on them. That's the difference. All right. The thing is though, like again, they told you stay away from mottle virus and tomato mosaic virus. And the problem is that these are not, to my knowledge, these are not human viruses. These are like plant-based viruses. Someone can correct me. You can write in if I'm wrong. Tomato mosaic virus, paprika mottle virus, these are viruses that affect the plant itself, not you. Maybe they were in your stool because you ate those things. But for sure, I don't know that these are human viruses. I've never heard about them. But again, I haven't heard about every virus in the whole world. And so write in. Let me know if those are human-based. Now, in terms of catechols in coffee, the catechols are in all coffee. So it's even in decaf coffee. And the reason is that they're compounds. So these are plant-based compounds, right, from plants. They're called phenols. Polyphenols, polyphenolic acid, are a lot of the antioxidant-based benefits. Now, they can be looked at as a stressor on the body, almost like a sauna or anything that may be a stressor on the body. And people call them like toxins, but the truth is that's where you get to derive a lot of the benefits. So there are pros and cons. When you overfill your rain barrel and it causes gut issues, well, that's a problem. But when your rain barrel is not overflowing, these polyphenols are actually highly beneficial to our body. These are these are literally the dihydroxyphenol compounds in coffee that allow us to get all those benefits that people look at as like, oh, this helps with potentially balancing healthy levels of blood sugar. This helps with potentially Alzheimer's and dementia disease. So just again, be careful. Be very, very careful listening to these non-functional medicine companies. All right. Marlena is up next. Hi, thank you so much for what you do. I'm Avada, 32 years old, currently working through adrenal fatigue. With your team, I've been trying to maximize my self-care, so I started implementing hot Epsom salt baths 2 times a week before dinner. My readiness in the Oura Ring is not as great the morning after the days I do the bath, as it looks like my heart rate is a little higher throughout the night. Any idea why these baths might be affecting like that? I only stay for 10 minutes. Okay. Great question. Great question. Let me see if you said this was a hot bath or a warm bath or any type of bath. You said implementing hot. Okay, hot Epsom salt baths. It could be the heat. Believe it or not, I don't think it's the Epsom salt. But here's the way that you can prove me wrong, right? So you're going to do an Epsom salt bath, and it's just going to be warm water, not hot, okay? I'm going to share with you why in just a moment. Just try a warm Epsom salt bath, same amount of time, same amount of Epsom salt, and see if your heart rate is then more normal, not as high during the night. I have a feeling the heat, your body is, again, not providing any diagnosis, right? So there's something called dysautonomia. I would love you to look up my podcast on dysautonomia, what people with adrenal fatigue have. So you have a much more challenging time. Again, no diagnosis. You may have a much more challenging time balancing hot and cold, right? And so what happens is it takes you longer to recover from any type of stressor in the body. And believe it or not, heat is a stressor in the body. A sauna is a stressor in the body. A cold plunge or cold bath is a stressor in the body. That's why we do not recommend high heat or cold to people recovering from adrenal-based issues, because your body needs to find a safe space and stay in a safe space while beginning to strengthen the constitution of your body. I believe it's most likely the heat, but again, put me to the test. All right, Brenda is up next. Hi, and thank you, Dr. Cabral, for all your knowledge. What are your recommendations or experience with transdermal cream versus by mouth form? An Ayurvedic practitioner recommended Chandika vitamin D transdermal cream instead of using by mouth form of drops or supplements to prevent less liver overload. Appreciate your advice regarding this. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, this is, I'm familiar with the product that you're talking about. I have not seen these products work as well. However, I have seen other products work well, meaning like I've seen transdermal CBD cream work well, no doubt about it. I've seen transdermal magnesium cream or spray work well, but not the vitamin D as well. Now, here's the thing. You can, again, put all of this knowledge to the test. All you need to do is find out your vitamin D levels, and then if they're low, you start using this particular type of transdermal cream. And then you retest your levels 4 weeks later. If your levels are now at a normal level, you say, great, the cream worked. All is good in the world, right? And that's phenomenal. Like that's what bioindividuality and true integrative health and functional medicine is all about. We can prove all of these things to ourselves and our practitioner. Now, what I will tell you though, is if you get the effect, phenomenal. That's the whole goal, right? I'm happy about that. However, it still happens in the liver. So that's the thing about these fat-soluble vitamins. It's going to be conjugated in the liver. So you're still getting the vitamin D from the lanolin. It's still being conjugated in the liver. Like you're still, you're not manufacturing it at skin level. Yeah, so I just wanted to let you know that it's still moving from the bloodstream. Yes, you're absorbing it through your skin. No doubt about it. Yes, that is true. Just like hormones can be absorbed through the skin, but it's still going to your liver. All right. So I just want to let you know that, just so we're again, if you love using the product, use the product. But if it's your liver you're worried about, honestly, it's going to your liver anyways. That's the way that it's going to work in order to be able to process it to a greater degree. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you everybody for writing in. I can't wait to do it. Tomorrow we'll be answering 6 more of our community questions. Take care.